Hey guys, welcome to episode 22. So I already recorded this, but I had to do it again because there was a lot of echo. Woohoo! Okay, so no, the second time will be even better. Okay, so I realized as I was thinking about what to talk about for this week's podcast, a pretty big realization, honestly, that I actually haven't mastered procrastination as a whole. Because I look back on last week, that's what I do every time before a podcast. I look back on the week before and I really think like, okay, what is it that I can take away from last week? What can I learn from last week? And yeah, this is what I came down to. I know, and I just realized it now. I'm much better than in the past, but I haven't mastered all aspects of it. But yeah, this is what happened like almost every time for me. It's like I experience a win of some sort, or I feel good, I feel a positive emotion, and then I always think, oh, yep, this is it. I'm never gonna feel negative again. Like I figured it out. Like, and some of my coaching clients might experience this too, where you're getting an epiphany and you're like, I'm now fixed. I am no longer broken. This is done. But as we know, it's a work in progress, and we get to a point where I think we're really happy with a certain habit, but then there's always other things to improve on in our life and ourselves because as humans, I really believe that we are meant to evolve. Anyway, so what I realized is that what I really mastered, since I really started working on this stuff, is that I really mastered falling in love with my work. I love the stuff I make now. Like no matter what I make, it seriously could be the ugliest piece of crap stick figure thing, or even if a drawing is looking really weird, the eye is off, the nose is weird, the mat, whatever. I'm still beaming like a proud mother, as if I just gave birth to baby Jesus. And that really helps with procrastination. So when I think about my art career or like my goal of being an independent artist, supporting myself through Instagram or through prints, or I'm not sure how yet, but seeing that goal or imagining myself as that person, to me it's like, yeah, that's done. That's totally happening, no problem. And it's because I really feel like I figured out how to love my work, not worry about followers and all that kind of stuff, not worry about likes or the numbers, just really focusing on myself and how I feel. That I think is just like, yeah, that's it. That's all I need to worry about. And also, I let go of this lack mentality that the market is saturated, that there isn't room for another digital artist, that everything's been done before. Like I really let go of any judgment around my artwork. And then the other thing I mastered is art block. I seriously never have trouble with wondering what to draw anymore, ever. It's all totally a mindset thing. It's deciding on purpose to not indulge in confusion. And also, it's like when I let go of that judgment around my work, it really helps with art block because then I'm not, like criticizing my tastes. I'm really allowing myself to have fun, whatever it is that I believe is fun. I do. Like I don't think it's like stupid or worthless work. It's like not real art, all that kind of stuff. So that really helped with art block. And then it's also like asking questions like, if I did know what to draw, what would I draw? Or what would be really fun to draw right now? Or like if I really want to achieve a certain goal, insert goal here, what would I draw to get closer to that goal? But the thing that I really still struggle with today is overworking, disorganization, and I'm very reactionary. And that's why it's been so stressful and it feels like I'm putting out fires all the time. But the problem is believing that there are fires in the first place and that I might die. I won't die, right? Like nothing that's happening here, nothing that's going on is ever gonna cause me to die. Except for myself, maybe. Like, except for me sending myself to an early grave with all of this stress that I'm creating for myself. this is definitely a form of procrastination, because if my schedule is a mess, right, because I think I need to get everything done right now, I forget to give myself time to eat lunch, I'm not thinking about free time and rest time and all of that, that is super, super inefficient. That is zapping all of this energy out of me to be doing things in the best and most quickest or most efficient way, right? Like, it's just not it's not better in the long term, because I burn out or I slow down because I'm tired and I'm not taking care of myself with giving myself proper rest and free time, or not giving myself proper time to, you know, self-reflect on myself and do some self-coaching or do some, work on myself. Because if I'm just like running around with like my head cut off, and I'm just like living in this like buzz of stress, like that's really not useful. And that is procrastination. Especially because what's really happening is it's procrastinating from my art itself. So it's interesting. I think I beat procrastination somewhat specifically with art, but then like as a whole, like with my life, with other things that are not art related, it's still there's still some like issues there. Like when I was looking at last week and I'm really thinking about, okay, what did I learn and how I realized all of this, last week felt like a total blur. Very little painting was happening. It was very chaotic for me and my family. Recently, I moved to Bali, some of you know, and I'm staying with my family in this little, like, modest hotel that they run, that they also live in. And a lot of our family is here right now, all at once. And we had a lot of guest problems recently, like guests fighting with each other, like throwing bottles at each other, cry, like all this stuff. And then guests booking like 3 rooms for a week and then suddenly leaving after one night and not paying. Just a lot of moving around and a lot of instability. And so I decided to check out a co-working space so I could have like a designated work area, because it's been pretty hard to focus without that, and not having private space so that I can take calls properly. It's been pretty difficult to manage. And while I was at the space, it was like I finally had a desk, I finally had air conditioning, I finally had like, you know, a proper space so I can really paint. But in the end, I was still filling up my schedule with all of this other stuff. And I kept saying to myself, oh, I'm just tying loose ends. So it was like 5 days out of the whole week where I didn't paint. And I'm just like, what? It's weird because, like I said, I got to a place where I really love painting. A lot of what I work on with current clients is that, like, is more about loving the work itself, right? Like, thinking that the work is not good enough, or being afraid of failure, being afraid of the work not turning out the way they expect. But for me, I've gotten to a place where I legit want to paint. Like, I'm not scared at all anymore of a piece of artwork failing or of it not looking good. I just like love all of it. But I procrastinate with other productive things. Even though I think me painting and putting artwork out there like crazy would be very productive. But I don't know. Right now, I'm still like putting all this other stuff on top. And I'm kind of suspecting right now that I think I may be afraid of success. And legit, guys, that's a real thing. And some of you might be thinking, like, why would anyone be afraid of success? What are you talking about? But really, there is a subconscious thing happening in there. Our brain is always trying to protect us. And we've survived this long where we are doing things the way we've been doing it, right? Like using our brain on autopilot, like just pretty much rehashing the exact same thing, the same thoughts, the same beliefs. And we are where we are in our lives. We have the things we have in our life, all because of just the same way our brain has been working throughout our entire life. And for any of us to really find success, for those of us who like want to change our minds kind of thing, we have to be doing something different. Success essentially is something quite different and unknown. And that can be seen as a threat because our brains love predictability. Our brains really like to know what's going on. It doesn't like uncertainty. it's the brain, our brain wants us to stay in the cave where it's safe, right? And the only reason we ever leave the cave is only if we seriously have to. Only if our survival is dependent on it. And for most of us, for what we define as success, we don't actually need it. We don't need any of that to survive. We've been surviving this way for this whole time. So yeah, success can definitely be seen success can definitely be seen as a threat. So you should if you want to learn more about this, I would really recommend listening to the podcast episode called "Why You're Afraid of Success" by Manifestation Babe. Just check it out on iTunes. Again, if you're turned off by the whole manifestation thing, just give it a try. I promise that she doesn't talk about law of attraction. She doesn't talk about like woo-woo magic stuff. It's really based on like mindset and talking about the subconscious mind and how it's, you know, subconsciously working against us. Anyway, so yes, I haven't beaten procrastination, but it's still really exciting though to see that I'm slowly chipping away at it. Like, it's working, you know, this stuff that I'm investing in my brain, all the effort that I'm putting in my mind, it's moving forward. I'm still so much more organized than I used to be. I have a freaking calendar. I cannot imagine going back to a life without a calendar. It's just so nice to see clearly what I'm working on that day and when I get free time. And, you know, I don't have to make any decisions in the moment. It's just so freaking freeing and so nice. So yeah, I'm going to be really focusing, starting now, like, on my mindset around my plans, my mindset around really committing to my free time instead of working more, and as well as my mindset around, like, you know, letting myself paint, right? Like, working on that, doing the thing that I really want to do. I think there's a part of me that kind of feels like that's afraid. Yeah, definitely. There's a part of me that's afraid of really pursuing that, because right now I really associate it with personal work, right? I really associate it with like free time or not work, I guess. That I like, it's hard to associate right now as like, oh, this is productive. This is good for me to do. It feels like I need to work 8 hours on other things a day first before I can paint. And then I paint only on these external times. But anyway, like, of course, you know, I had to get really honest with myself, right? Because I made a podcast, what, four podcasts ago, saying I beat procrastination, and here I am with a new podcast saying like, nope, never mind, I didn't beat procrastination. I'm better, but no, I'm not all the way. And so yeah, I had to be really honest with myself in order for me to really see what's going on, so that then I can actually address it. So yeah, that's another thing that I would really suggest, is just be honest with yourself about what's if there's anything that you need to be honest with yourself about, because really there's nothing wrong with it. It's okay, and it's what is going to allow you to move forward and learn from it and make changes. So yes, I'm going to be really focusing on that, on really like completing this procrastination mastery. And I feel like I'm 80% there, and it's this 20% disorganization and overworking thing. And I really can't wait to share what I learned with all of you. I'm excited to make like the podcast, any YouTube videos in the future, and then also any like the coaching program that I'm working on right now. I think it's just going to be even better than I expected it to be. I'm going to understand this so much more, and yeah, I hope that you'll get something out of it. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening to me ramble once more, and I hope that was helpful in any way. I hope me sharing my insights is still interesting and useful to you. I love reading all the feedback that I get from you guys, that this is really helping you, and yeah, it's such an honor knowing that there are people that I'm helping, and thank you. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye!